think that trailer's older than 15 years, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ken?
No, it's got a manufacture date on it.
I just remember getting the pigs and
Was
stuff.
it brand new when we got it?
Yeah. Traded those big.
Have we painted it all, and since we've had
No,
it?
it's just been wide, it's just been
And I
set
think
out the
too,
way.
like if we would put it, get it fixed and then have somewhere to put it, maybe under the bus barn or something like that to keep it out of the weather,
Yeah.
obviously that would prolong it, so that would be my suggestion.
You talking about those rubber torsion axles? What's, the rubber starting to break and crack on them, or is it still
No,
good?
it's just, we had a bearing go out on the way 2 years ago. The first year I was here, we had a bearing coming back from, Eastland, that area. He threw me a curve, I forgot where we went and got it, but it was about 5 hours away. And we got back and the wheel was just wobbling on there because the bearing was already, we just, a little bit further that wheel would have flown off. And it's not the easiest thing in the world, I don't think, to mess with that torsion axle.
Oh, so it makes it harder to work on it. That's what you're saying, a little bit?
And maybe it was just me, but the bearing was difficult to get out of that thing. We did it, I think Kobe's the one that actually finally got that thing knocked out. We had to heat it up and get it, and knock it out of there, and I think we may have had you press it in, didn't we? We had somebody press a new one back in, but, anyway. I just think the trailer,
It's no use to us right now. I mean,
right
it's
now we
just-
can't use it.
It's just sitting out there, so.
So are you asking the board?
No,
I
I'm
mean-
just, this is
just one of our
yeah.
goals is to
Oh,
do
okay.
something
To
with
get
this trailer right
something,
now.
right.
You know, it's just sitting out there not doing much good for anybody right now. So,
I know a cowboy in
Sell it?
Augusta, they'll probably buy that and he'd think it was top of the line.
Better than all my trailers.
When that horse falls through there, it'll be on the news.
something that, I'll let Ms. Marlin talk to you about this.
Yeah,
This
I
is
talked
something
to
they've been kicking
Mrs.
around.
Patton a little bit about this. This has always been obviously a passion of mine. I don't know if it's more of a girl thing or what, but I would love to see a floral program created for our students. We could offer this as a fine arts credit, so I think that would give our our students a little bit more of an option. We would obviously need to buy a flower cooler, and I know when I was looking around for them for the grant that we applied for, the most expensive one, or not so much expensive, but the one that I feel like we would need would be about $4,000. And that would be one of the biggest costs for that, but also actually buying the flowers for the students to prepare floral arrangements. But that would allow our students to express some creativity and work more hands-on like we do in agriculture. And I know where we come from to actually have those flowers for those students, we would actually pay a lab fee up front. And I don't know if art does that with their students, but that could be an option. I don't know if that would be an option, but that is something that a lot of schools do offer or do have. And then, could we work towards doing this? I definitely feel like this is something I would love to see our kids have. So that is definitely one of my goals.
I actually took a floral design class in college. My wife loved it. I brought her home a new arrangement every week. I was a hit for that semester, I'll guarantee you.
But a lot of the school districts now have that class.
Around Houston, they do.
Yeah, I would like to see us do, we've discussed this, and I'd
I
like
think
to see
that
this
would
too.
bring in
But the
Another
most-
option.
The most
Yes.
expensive thing would be to buy the flower arrangements, or to buy the flowers, the fresh flowers, and even silk flowers are even more than fresh flowers.
I don't know what the fee is. I know my fee at college was $250 for that semester for fresh flowers every week.
I know when I was in
Which-
high school, I paid just a $35 fee. So that is something that we could, offer. Also, too, we don't have to make a floral arrangement once a week.
No,
We could
no.
offer it, once a month. During Valentine's Day, they could create a floral arrangement for a candy bouquet or something like that. And I mean, I just put a bunch of pictures on here. That would obviously be a floral cooler, something that we would need. And then that would be the one on the left would be about $4,000. And then we also talked about finding an old.
Just a beverage cooler,
Yeah,
like a
beverage
Coca-Cola that you have at a convenience store.
Yeah,
That
if
would work
they went
just
out
as
of
well if you
business
could-
or something,
If you could
maybe we
find
could
one.
find something like that. So, I mean, there's always people trying
We
to sell
check with the
stuff.
flower stores, see if they have a used one for sale.
Yeah, I mean, if you did something like this, you could always make money off of that
Oh,
selling
yeah.
flowers for the
Yeah,
different.
like a plant sale, absolutely.
That or
Flower.
programs we have,
Yeah.
senior night, prom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Graduation.
Yes.
We always have to
Oh,
order
yeah.
flowers from
So,
somewhere.
I mean,
Oh, I would just bring it.
making corsages and bouquets, I've done that with students, and it's just, they love it, so.
Mhm. That's
And
awesome.
obviously, having it as a fine arts credit would bring so much more options for our kids, and I think that's great.
Martin, how cool is that inside those?
It's a
It's-
refrigerator.
It's,
basically what it
it's
is.
almost freezing. It's 38 to 40 degrees
That's what I'm
usually is what they
thinking.
keep.
It's more than a walk-in cooler.
Yes.
Well, if you keep them, you would think that it would frost those flowers, but if you keep them close to freezing or close to below 40 degrees, it's really, they last a lot longer than anything above that. It's not a whole lot of, you can make a plant last a long time in one of those coolers. You know, it will give you a little longevity if you have one of them.
Okay. Me and Mrs. Patton also talked a little bit about this. Having our, do we want to work towards getting an ag facilities or an ag barn? Obviously, this would allow more students to raise animal projects. A lot of our kids have, don't have the facilities at their houses, or, it kind of intimidates them not, having it at their house. And I think this would also allow me and Mr. Blackman to keep a better eye on those animals. It's very difficult for us to go to each individual house, 3 or 4 times before that student shows that animal, and there's just that's a lot of work on us, and it's so much easier for ag teachers to have that facilities. So I mean, that's something. Do we want to work towards that? Are we happy with the way it is? Do we want to look at, I know we had kind of talked a little bit about maybe the bus barn. I know that was kind of said, or, other ideas.
Well, I didn't realize other schools had that option for
Yes.
students, especially if students live inside the cities or
Yeah,
don't have
the
a place
majority of
for
the schools in Houston will have these facilities. Where I come from, they have these facilities, and I'm going to show y'all some
I
pictures.
think Livingston even does that in their facilities.
Yes.
There's some small schools that have it.
Oh, yeah.
They're not just large schools.
Crockett used to do it.
There's a lot of problems with it. I mean.
There are.
There's a lot of reasons they stopped.
Yeah, that's the liability on it, and also you think Harvey would like that. I don't know.
He won't know.
You know, the location of this bus barn right here, I don't know that would be such a great option because it's so close to those people that live right there.
As long as Mr. Frizzell don't like it, that's what we're concerned about.
But I mean, I know Humble ISD, they do have their ag barn right on Humble, ISD, their school or their high school right there. So I mean, schools do it. So I don't know if that's something we want to work for, or
Ms. Marlin,
yes.
I assume the way you're talking, that if you had an ag barn, you'd have all your students have their stuff? in it?
No,
not necessarily.
absolutely not.
budget
I mean,
Well, then why would that make it easier for y'all?
well, I mean, it would make it easier for us, for the students that did have their animal project there. Now, I mean, if that's something that they don't want to do, then, that's an option for them, so.
I think we'd probably have more students that did it if that option was
Yes.
there. I think we would probably have more students that would attempt to raise an animal.
There's just so many that, building, a facility to do that. I mean, that gets costly, so that's something that we talked about too. Good. Okay, this is, Jennifer wanted me to go, this is where I come from, this is our facilities, and, I'm just gonna go through some of these pictures to show y'all kinda how some of the, how they kind of have their facilities set up.
So what are we looking at? What are these?
Basically just, we have different barns per animal, so like the sheep and goat have their own barn, steers and heifers would have their own barn, we have chicken coops designated, so it's just kinda broke up and kinda organized a little bit better, so. I don't know if we wanna add anything.
No, I'm
Okay. And then there's trailers and all kinds of stuff, so. I think it's on like, College Park and the Woodlands High School actually share this facilities, and I think it's on like 3 acres. So, I mean, I don't know if that's something that, also maybe Crockett would wanna share with us, or if that's something we don't wanna do. I'm just kinda throwing out ideas.
You know, we used to have a hog pen out here. All the guys took their hogs here because the parents didn't want them around the house.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have talked with Dr. Easterly about offering more courses in the department. There are three, I like to think there's about 3 criteria that we look at whenever we're talking about offering courses. One is, are the students going to be interested in it? I mean, we quit offering animal science the year before I came here because there were no students signing up for it. We do the basic animal science in our first year ag program, but are the students going to be interested? Number 2, is the administration going to support it? I mean, it's something that y'all need to have a hand in and tell us you think it would work or not. And number 3, are we qualified to teach it? You know, can we offer that? We have the facilities, and is the community going to support it? If it's something, equine science, that was actually offered here the year before I came, or 2 years before I came to Latexo. And there was some interest in it, but it stopped. There was no interest in it after that, was it
Kids
10?
weren't signing
I mean,
up.
09.